A very warm welcome to this particular video where I want to share with you these 6 steps which helped a company grow 24, where I was instrumental as a company accountability partner. And I want to give you all the steps as to how this company grew 20-fold and how you can really grow your company multifold. There's a whole system, there's a whole sequence, and it's simplified. And towards the end, I will be sharing some more insights. I'll be talking about the impact model, which means intention, mindset, people, accountability, cost leadership, and traction. But under traction towards the end, you're going to get some really game-changing insights. So I press upon you to stay towards the end, see how this particular impact model can really be a game changer for you in 2025 and beyond. So let's go straight into this particular presentation. This is the 6 steps to 20-fold growth, and this is a company's success story. But before I go into that, I just want to sort of highlight some of the challenges which are seen in businesses. And by the way, this applies to startups, small, medium, and large organizations as well. Doesn't matter where you are based or what sector you are in. If you are a for-profit company, these are the 6 building blocks which are going to help you to really make an impact. So let's go straight into some of the challenges. The first one, which I've noticed in many businesses, is this disconnect with staff. So, the tone at the top, when you're looking at the top level, and when I'm talking about top level, it could be a board, and the board may be made up of the executives themselves, if you are a family business or a private company. So, that particular setup, it's possible that the executives could be the directors, but in some instances, there are companies who would have non-executive directors and independent directors. But again, that's one section, then the CEO comes in, and then the executives come in. So that is the layer which I'm talking about at the top. But what I've noticed is that I've noticed this disconnect with staff. And that is one of the key challenges why businesses struggle. The second challenge which I see is this plateaued sales in a saturated market. What's happened is there's so much of competition, or rather the demand is like taken care of. It's, that capability has been exhausted. That is another key challenge, and that's a point where stagnation would kick in, or where companies would start having certain imbalances. The third problem which I've seen in businesses is inefficient processes. And again, this is a key reason why businesses struggle. In one particular instance, I'll tell you this one particular company, what was happening is they had this one section where it was repairs and maintenance, and they were providing this guaranteed service. But what was happening is that because of that inefficient processes, they were duplicating jobs, and there were a lot of overlaps taking place. So there was this lack of coordination. The processes were not efficient enough, which was really costly to the business, and there were a lot of slippages, leakages as well. The other challenge is high operational costs. Again, not looking into the costs properly and having an adverse impact on the cash flows of the company as well. And when do high operational costs come into play is when there is also some misadministration, there's not proper thought put through, strategic thinking as well is missing in the particular process. And finally, misalignment at the top. Now, this is different from the disconnect with staff, and I'll explain what I really mean is misalignment at the top. Is the top themselves are not really on the same page. So this is what happens. And one company told me that, look, Vijay, we want to go from here to here. How do we go from here to here? And I asked them to call the board, and the CEO, who was the owner, called the board. It was about 5,000 employees, and the board was made up of executive directors and a couple of other members. I asked the board that, look, write the purpose of the organization, write the vision of the organization, write the values of the organization, but most important, let me know what you mean you want to go from here to here, by way of additional resources, by way of additional revenues, by way of additional branches, by way of additional staff, with timelines, of course. So give me that, and you must have guessed it by now that they were completely directionless. They were in different directions altogether. So there's that misalignment at the top. These are the challenges. Now I want to shift gears and move into some opportunities. And I believe that 2025 has the biggest opportunity for you. And that is one of the key components you should consider. And again, depends on the size, complexity, and the nature of your particular business. But it's stepping into emerging markets. There's a lot of demand, there's a lot of scope, there's a lot of opportunity moving beyond your particular territory. And again, you might be confined in your territory, but think out of the box. There's one particular business, it's run in some part of India. They are manufacturing for the local market there. But what they have done is they've now come up with a consultancy service, for example. They have one particular section where they offer this consultancy service because it's specialized, and they offer it out of the country to other parts of the world. So you need to think out of the box and see how you can tap into the emerging market. And the other biggest opportunity you have, and we know about this, is leveraging digital transformation. Because at this particular point in time, artificial intelligence, machine learning, digitization, all those core components are really building into efficiencies for businesses. And you need to really take advantage of this particular opportunity. And in order for you to stay ahead, we are now moving from simply artificial intelligence to another level altogether. And I speak more about this in a program which I have, the Impact program. I'll speak to you towards the end of this particular presentation. But the point here is that technologies which are now integrated. So it's just not only one artificial intelligence, it's now many other multiple models, and they are integrating, which means you can now have stronger leverage. You can move to another level altogether. So those are the opportunities. I now want to walk you through the impact model created after decades of my experience, skills, competencies, my learning, research, interviews with CEOs, directors, executives, and conducting very many events, workshops in different parts of the world. So I've come up with this model, which is now more of a construct that will help you to grow. It helped this one particular company. It was in the media research and training company, but that grew 20-fold. So I want to share with you this model. Before I go into this model, if you're enjoying this particular video and you find value in this video, please like, subscribe, comment to this particular video, because I'll be rolling out more impact-driven videos to help you to progress, to help you to become a world-class leader, a world-class director, and move to another level. It doesn't matter what size of your company is. So I really appreciate if you can please like, subscribe, comment to this particular channel. Also hit the notification bell, because I'll be rolling out quite a lot of videos. I normally plan to roll out 3 videos a week. So let's move straight into the impact model. Impact stands for, the I stands for intention. Clarify the intention for where you want to go. Say you are a $5 million company based in some part of the world, and you want to grow to 6.5 million in 12 months. You have to be completely clear as to the specific point of destination with the timeline in place. So focus is very important. Immersion is very important. Attention is very important. But most important is the clarity that you need when it comes to the intention. And my dear friends, that collective intention at the top, every strategic meeting, have it as a mantra. As a company accountability partner, when I go into companies, every strategy meeting, I make sure all the board members are clear when it comes to the intention. Once you are clear about the intention, a lot of things really kick in. You'll have that constructive dialogue, you'll have some dynamism, because everybody knows and are ignited to achieve that particular goal. Let's move to the second one, which is mindset. Very many business people, very many CEOs, very many owners, family businesses, they hold on. This is the problem. they procrastinate, they delay, they spill over certain decisions as well. You do not need to see a failure as a failure, but as an outcome. It's a learning lesson. I mean, I've made mistakes as well. I've not made all the best choices, but from that, I've learned, I've progressed, and this is where I am at this particular point in time. So we are going to make those choices which we believe that wish we hadn't made this particular choice. But here's the thing, from that particular choice that you make, there's a lot of learning. And from that particular learning comes success. From that particular success unfolds happiness as well. So that's what you need to really combine. Have a growth mindset, have an open mindset, be adaptable. You have to see what are the turning points. You need to stay ahead of the curve. So have a mindset, and I believe mindset plays 80%. 20% as skills, competencies, and experiences, but 80% is your mindset. So work on that particular aspect as far as the mindset is concerned. People, do you have the right people at the right places doing the right job, and are you happy and are you content with the results that you are getting? You need to stretch thinking. You need to move to another level. When I go into companies, I normally make sure that when it comes to the executive team, they stretch their thinking. If they talk about a goal which is 24 months, I challenge them or push the envelope and I ask them to do it in 12 months. We get a lot of insights and there are lots of moving parts and all. Your people are the highest leverage. And again, now with the advantage that we have, where we have remote working, we have people from different parts of the world helping companies, you can tap into resource at a cost efficient level altogether. So think about it. I mean, I helped a company grow fourfold in 18 months post pandemic here in London, and they were based in another continent altogether. So you get the gist that you can get talent from any part of the world. So tap into those particular resources, which doesn't need to be expensive. They don't need to be long-term contract projects or initiatives. It can be short-term. It depends on what your goals and objectives are. But again, at this particular point in time, tap into that particular resource. That's what I mean. Accountability. Now, this is a key challenge I've seen in very many businesses. This particular company, which grew 20-fold, there was ownership from the top. How did ownership come? It was through the culture, because we had a culture of empowering, enriching the team members. So that was number one. The culture was there was some very well laid out and articulated feedback mechanisms which we had in place. So make sure accountability is key. I see businesses, role duplicity, roles and responsibilities are fuzzy. They've not evolved over the years, despite all the learning and development and everything. The roles have changed. If you look at their contracts, they're still the same. So you need to look into all these role duplicities. In one instance, I remember an executive having two bosses. That is going to drag your company down. So be very careful, have that accountability in place, yeah? The other one is cost leadership, my dear friends. Now, cost leadership, you have to be very careful about how much you spend. And you need to look into how you can have leaner efficiencies in your particular business. So one thing that you need to consider is, and I always press this to all companies, in fact, even in my workshops, which I did recently, and by the way, I got a 10 out of 10 feedback for this particular impact model, which I share in workshops, which I conduct in different countries. And here's the thing, a company accountability partner is what you should be looking at in 2025 and beyond. Why? Coach is important. Coach, mentoring, training, advising, holding people accountable. These are core components that you need, but they are not enough. Do you know what the missing link is? It's all this, but somebody who's going to help your executive team shift behaviors. So I press upon you to look into a company accountability partner. Consider it as a very small investment as compared to the return that you're going to get in your particular investment. If you're interested, please reach out to me and we can have a dialogue, because this is what I love doing. I help companies through being a company accountability partner, make sure they become high performers. That is what it is. It's the discipline, it's the habits, it's shifting those behaviors which are very important, but at the same time sharing skills and competencies, making sure they are on track with whatever strategy they have. So that is the cost leadership. TRA stands for time. You'll never get your time back. So T is very important. R is the resources. You must make sure you have all the relevant resources that you need for today. So you need to do whatever you need to do, whatever it takes to ensure that you have the right resources. If you're with the right people, with the right resources, with the right tools at the right time, then you'll be able to see that you'll be able to accelerate growth. A stands for appraisal. Do a cost audit, do a cost appraisal. You need to work out and find out where it is that you are going to be able to shift those axes or transform or look into AI taking over a certain aspect which is going to be more efficient. So look into what you can do as far as cost leadership is concerned. And finally, traction. My dear friends, this is the portion where we go into the nuances and we go into the tools and strategies of how I help this company grow 24. There are very many points, but I'm just sharing a few for you to think differently. The first is organic growth. My dear friends, social media right now, it's absolutely at no cost. All we need is your time, that commitment or the micro commitment to ensure that you capitalize depending on whatever your business is. But the social media platforms out there, when I go to businesses, they don't even have a blog. They're quite behind when it comes to this organic growth. So this particular company made sure that it capitalized when it came to organic growth. Use this to leverage your particular business. Use this to position your particular business. Secondly, innovate. Along the way, like I said, come up with some service. If you are in the manufacturing, think about conducting consultancy or think differently. What else can you provide? How can you be more effective in whatever you're doing? So how can your price points be such that you are adding more value for what you are charging? Be innovative. Come up with that innovative idea and brainstorm, mindstorm, do whatever it takes, but innovate. What I do is we normally have a break. We call it a golden hour, and we have it every 6 weeks with companies. We don't do anything else, but we just bounce out ideas. We just throw ideas in a basket and we see and filter out and see what we can experiment. That's the next point. So you need to then experiment as well. And you need to have a contingency. So depending on whatever your financial situation is, make sure you have good financial management in place and have a sinking fund, have a contingency where you can test, where you can find out what's working and what's not working. So look into having that particular experimental aspect in place as well. And what I want you to do is I want to give you more insights. So bridge gaps in these 5 areas. Let me share these 5 particular areas where I would like you to consider. Conduct these appraisals. The first appraisal that you really need to conduct is a systems appraisal. Find whether your systems are sound. That's very important. If you have any gaps, that is the area where you need to really focus on. The second one is strategy. So conduct a strategy appraisal, leadership appraisal, governance appraisal. I'll wrap it into one, but that top level appraisal needs to be done. Again, whether you're a startup, small, medium, large organization, you'll have that loosely defined governance aspect, but you must make sure you have a strategy. The third one is a culture audit. So conduct a culture audit. Your team is your highest leverage. Find out, is your culture good enough? Or are your team connected as well? The fourth one is a capacity audit. Find out what is that capacity gap you have, what you are capable of delivering, and what you are delivering at this particular point in time. Is it 70%? Is it 80%? In some cases, there's a burnout. There's more demand than what can be fulfilled. And that means your team is going to be burnt out as well. So you need to have that right balance. And the fifth one, my dear friends, is IT, cybersecurity, and that particular aspect to see how you can capitalize, optimize, and make sure you safeguard the assets of your business. So these are the 5 gaps you need to look into in businesses. If you work on these particular points which I've shared with you, I can promise you 6 months down the line, you'll have a completely different scenario altogether. If you're interested, I've got impact model program, and I believe within 7 days you can roll up your sleeves and start working and executing using this particular impact model in any part of your business. It's got board excellence, the board structure itself. It's got on profit, how you can grow your revenues, how you can drop your costs, how you can increase your margin as well. It's got some risk management. You get other programs as well with it. So check out this particular impact model. I believe it's going to be a game changer for you. In my opinion, it's a no-brainer. Look, my dear friends, I hope you got value from this particular video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video where I'll be sharing more impact-driven insights to help you to move to another level. Thank you very much.